NHL Referee, The Men in Stripes by Ted Talks Hockey. When we consider professional hockey, most fans talk about their favorite team or favorite player, but does anybody have a favorite referee? In this article, we will explore the life of being an NHL referee. The NHLOA, National Hockey League Officials Association, was first created in 1969 as a way of improving working conditions, salaries, and job benefits for the National Hockey League officials. Bill Friday was the first NHLOA president. He was instrumental in forming the association. In 1972, the World Hockey Association, WHA, began competing directly against the NHL. This opened the door to NHL officials more aggressively negotiating with the NHL, which led to the first collective bargaining agreement that would be implemented before the start of the 1973-74 season. Over the next several years until the 1980-81 season, different referees took the mantle of president of the NHLOA. Matt Pavlich, Wally Harris, Brian Lewis, and the late John McCauley. When the WHA merged from 4 teams with the NHL in 1979-80, many WHA officials moved with them. Dave Newell took the reins in 1981, having the longest tenure, lasting until 1988. During a playoff game between the New Jersey Devils and the Boston Bruins in 1988, Devils head coach Jim Schoenfeld got into a verbal assault with referee Don Koharski. Schoenfeld received a 1-game suspension. The Devils organization used the legal system to obtain an injunction, allowing Schoenfeld to return behind the Devils bench for their next game. Incensed that the suspension was overturned, the officials threatened to strike. When they could not come to a mutual agreement, the officials refused to officiate the next game. The NHL played the game anyway, using minor league officials as replacements. When the NHLOA refused to give in to the NHL's threats of firing and fines, it only strengthened their resolve. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, the NHL and professional sports began to see an exponential rise in player salaries. Noticing this, the NHLOA under President Terry Gregson teamed up with the players' agent Don Meehan, who would bargain on their behalf for the next collective bargaining agreement. By the summer of 1992, Don Meehan had begun negotiating on behalf of the NHLOA, but progress was slow. By 1993, after negotiating all summer and officiating the first month of the NHL regular season, the NHLOA held a meeting in Toronto in November to get a strike mandate from its membership. The decision was unanimous. The NHLOA felt that because of inaction on the part of the NHL that they needed to force the issue. NHLOA members officiated the next game and then promptly went on strike. The NHL immediately tried to put in place replacement officials to continue playing games. This didn't work as anticipated. Officials from the CAHA, USA Hockey, Major Junior Hockey, and various minor professional hockey leagues joined their NHL brethren in a collective effort to obtain a better CBA from the NHL. This was a watershed moment for the NHLOA. With the support of officials from many different leagues, the NHLOA was able to secure a much-needed and greatly improved CBA, thus ending a 17-day strike. The new agreement included upgrades in severance, pension, retirement, and playoff compensation. In 1999, the league introduced the 2 referees system, which resulted in membership jumping to 76 members and creating more jobs. The average NHL referee salary is between $165,000 and $360,000. If a referee works more than 73 games in the regular season, he is compensated 1/73 of his salary for each additional game. If a linesman works more than 75 games, he is compensated 1/75 of his salary for each additional game. NHL linesmen earn between $110,000 and $235,000 per year. Wes McCauley was voted the best NHL referee by the players after a poll conducted by the Associated Press in 2018. Making the cut. The first step is to contact your local officiating governing body. Hockey Canada or USA Hockey. After that, it's all about how hard you apply yourself. Although you may possess the skill and determination, other factors can influence whether or not you secure employment. Being an old boys club, you'll be susceptible to supervisors and officiating managers that will push for their favorite guy. The NHL has increasingly shown a preference towards recruiting former players as they believe that they have a greater hockey sense which will give them a distinct advantage. NHL officials must attend training camps, and that is often led by the same trainers and conditioning coaches that the players work with. Typically, taller referees are favored as they have the ability to look over the top of players when they have to break them up. It is a strict requirement to have a body fat of 10% or under. Every year, potential hires are required to write a rules test at the pro and semi-pro levels. These tests are known as SRD format, State Referee Decision. SRD exams are between 50 and 100 questions. Each question is a scenario asking you to step-by-step handle each situation, which penalties to apply, and where to resume the next face-off. You are expected to skate up and down the ice at top speed without ever taking a break or missing a call, and making the right call in a split second. All the while, you are under the microscope of millions of viewers. You must tune out angry fans and players and keep your composure. Every morning, officials receive a personalized email from the league office detailing video clips of the night before. These clips contain performance critiques of the game before. They serve as a training tool going forward. To be a professional referee, you must accept 20 or more days away from home every month, 10 months of the year, living out of a suitcase, endless travel, and standing in long lines at airports. Officials do not have access to private planes. Has a referee been assaulted by a player? Yes. On March 13, 1955, in a game between the Boston Bruins and the Montreal Canadiens at the Boston Gardens, former Montreal Canadien and then Boston Bruin defenseman Hal Lecaux high-stick Maurice Rocket Richard in the head during a Montreal power play, opening a cut that required 5 stitches to close. Referee Frank Advari signaled a delayed penalty. When the play stopped, Richard skated over to Lecaux, who already had dropped his gloves in anticipation of a fight, and slashed him in the face and shoulders with his stick. The linesman attempted to restrain Richard, but each time Richard broke free and continued to attack Lecaux, this time breaking his stick over his body. Referee Cliff Thompson again tried to restrain Richard, only to have him break free and punch Thompson in the face twice, knocking him out. Vince Lunny, a writer at the Montreal Herald, said Richard's face looked like a smashed tomato. Richard received a match penalty and an automatic $100 fine. Lecaux was assessed a 5-minute major penalty and a 10-minute misconduct for the high stick. Boston police attempted to arrest Richard, but his Montreal teammates blocked the police from entering the dressing room. Boston Bruin management convinced the police that the league would handle the matter and that an arrest was unnecessary. Richard would later be suspended for the rest of the regular season and all of the playoffs. The suspension sparked the March 17, 1955 St. Patrick Day riot. 3 months previous to this, Richard was fined $250 for slapping a linesman in the face in a game in Toronto. The life of an NHL official is not as glamorous as one might think. Although it can be financially rewarding, it comes with a cost. Very little time for family life, stressful days traveling all across the country, waiting in endless lineups at airports, and the fact that it's a thankless job where every decision you make is constantly scrutinized. If you feel you have the right stuff, then put on the stripes and get in the game. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. You can follow me at https://tedtalkshockey.com, and remember to keep your stick on the ice. This presentation contains images that were used under a Creative Commons license. Click here to see the full list of images and attributions. https://link attribute.